Show. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope your weekend is going well. It is July the 16th, 2022, and every Saturday morning we're live for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. This is a show hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans. Scott Wolmering is with the WE team and the Minnesota Real Estate team with REMAX Advantage Plus, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team at REMAX Advantage Plus. This is a fun show, interactive, here to provide you a lot of great information about current market conditions from a real estate standpoint, from a mortgage standpoint. Really a lot going on in this current market to unpack. And today, excited to have a couple guests joining me in studio today. First, we've got Steve Groen with Standard Water, a wonderful guy, awesome company. And I promise, Steve, I won't put you on the spot with real estate questions.
Well, you can, just so you're not going to be good at great answers. But I'll try hard. Oh, yeah, I'll talk. I'll use words.
That's good. And then, of course, Sue Marty with the Minnesota Real Estate team, REMAX Advantage Plus. Wonderful agent, wonderful person. Thanks for being here, Sue.
Thanks for having me.
It's
always fun to go on the show and chat with you guys about things.
It's good. Sue can keep it lively. You can give it back to me, right?
I'll try.
Scott is actually out visiting his daughter Jordan down in Arizona, and Mike is actually out this weekend too with family. But again, a lot to talk about. Questions, comments, thoughts as they pop up. Don't hesitate to interrupt. We're actually going live on air right now. Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Saturday, July the 16th, 2022, live here at Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering of the WE team and Minnesota Real Estate team with REMAX Advantage Plus, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team and REMAX Advantage Plus. Appreciate you joining us here. Today we are live every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., talking all things real estate related, mortgage related. We've got a lot going on in our current market today to talk about. And your questions are always welcome. 612-294-6949. Again, 612-294-6949. You can call us or text us at that number, or you can join us on social media, wherever you might be, your preferred destination. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you might be. You can catch us live in the studio as well. And I've got to welcome on two great guests here this morning. Steve Groen with Standard Water, who is with us here today. And Miss Sue Marty. Sue, good morning to you there, friend.
Good morning. Good to see you guys this morning.
It is nice to have you here, Sue. You're going to keep it lively, right?
I'm going to sure try. We'll see.
And of course, our friend Steve Groen, Standard Water. Steve has an awesome company. Encourage you to check him out online, standardwater.com. Just a heck of a great guy as well. Steve, thanks for joining us there, friend.
You know, it's great to be here. What a day. Is this not a beautiful day?
Oh my gosh. Driving in. It was yeah, there's those certain days in Minnesota where you're like, wow, this I could get used to this.
Yeah, we got to be outside for sure.
Do you have a boat, Ryan? Do you have a boat?
I do not have a boat.
You seem like the sort of person that should have a boat. I'm going to be on a pontoon on Lake Minnetonka today, and I was just sitting here thinking it's going to be a great day, and I love it being on someone else's
boats. You know, it's funny because my dad loved boats. Dad loved boats. My brother Tom does. My in-laws, actually Jim and Sue, they tune into the show. They're actually big boaters, so they're actually up at their cabin right now. But you know what? I've just never been a boat guy. Maybe it's just my super white pasty skin that everybody loves to give me a bad time on any of our team trips that we go. It's almost
Yeah.
embarrassing. So
I know, it was funny. They were giving you a hard time in February when we were on the trip. They were like, "Oh my gosh, here comes Pasty."
here comes Ryan. Grab your like darkest shades you have. It is pretty scary, let me tell you. But you know what? That's all right. I can thank my dear father for that. Dad was very much the same way.
Well,
Dad had that nice complexion.
yep, that's common in Minnesota, right? Aren't we all a little bit?
Sue's trying to make me feel better. Hey, we appreciate you watching on, again, social media or joining us online. We've got a lot to talk about, and questions, comments, thoughts, always welcome at any point. With the market, interest rate standpoint, normally we do an update here in the first segment, just to talk a little bit. Hey, where are interest rates? What are we seeing that's going on right now? And again, these are numbers directly from Mike Overson and his team. Mike sent out a note saying that this past week there was a little bit of up and down with rates, and they ended up essentially at the same point where they started on Monday of this week. He also commented and said that it sounds like the Federal Reserve will raise their rate by another 0.75 at their next meeting, possibly more. This, he said, would help lower long-term mortgage rates, essentially. And so that's interesting as well. But rates, here's where rates are. Conventionals, a 30-year fixed rate at the high fives to low sixes, high fives to low sixes. A 15-year fixed rate is at the mid fives. If you're looking at FHA, we're seeing more FHA offers accepted in our market. Sue, a 30-year fixed is also in the high fives, low sixes. VA, mid fives, USDA, high fives, and jumbos. Again, Mike's talked about this. The jumbos are actually lower. Why? He's explained it a couple times, but the jumbo mortgages, 30-year fixed, are at high four to low fives. So interesting. Again, we're seeing rates kind of stabilize. So
Yes, and everybody got a little scared. They thought the 3 to 4% was normal, and some of us are old enough to remember when they were 14, 15, 16%. And when we got to that 6 to 8% range, it was exciting and it was a great rate. Then we dropped to these little 3, 4s numbers recently, and a lot of people that just started in the market thought that was the normal rate. And when you're in that 6 to 8%, that's actually the normal area.
right.
So for us to stay as low as we were, we just knew that wasn't going to last. So yeah, it's going to make your payment a little bit higher, but maybe now you're not going to have to overbid as high as you did before because there's not as many offers on homes, because a lot of people did decide to wait. Some are waiting, some are not, some are going forward.
Right.
So we're seeing a definite shift in the market for sure.
Yeah, Steve.
I'm just curious. There's buyers probably out there trying to decide when to lock in a rate. So that 0.75% you alluded to, when is that next meeting?
I think
What's the time frame?
I think it's the end of July is the next meeting. End of July when that meeting, Federal Reserve meeting is. And I know there was a big inflation report this week that came out that was higher than last month. And so a lot of the Federal Reserve folks have commented and different things, seeing it online and news stories saying that they're looking at that 0.75% increase, possibly even higher, possibly even a 1%. So interesting that, again, Mike's commented that always affects the causes long-term rates to go down. So interesting, and I know Mike has mentioned that before, that he expects maybe in the next year or two that rates to actually go down a little bit. And that's why you'll see a lot of the lenders out there. You probably, fellow agents that may be listening or watching, a lot of the lenders now are talking about these 2-1 buy downs, that essentially the borrower can pay to get 2 points lower the first year, and then 1 point lower the second year, and then it goes to the standard rate at that point, essentially. And so what's happening is, again, a lot of the mortgage people feel that rates may decrease over the next year and a half or two. So that's a way to get into a property with a lower rate. Instead of paying 6, you pay 4 upfront for that first year. Have you been hearing anything about that, Sue? I've seen a lot of messages from all types of mortgage people.
I have heard that. There's quite a few of them that have jumped on that bandwagon, and it really does help our buyers. Some people get a little nervous about it at first until they really understand the program and how it works. It tends to be a better way to get in right now because of where the rates are. So it's a great product, actually. So.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Real estate wise, we do need to hit on, from a real estate perspective, what is going on in that world as well before the first break. Some interesting numbers to share here with everyone. And again, these are year-over-year numbers that we get from our friends at the Minneapolis Area Association of Realtors. And new listings, new homes for sale, down 3%. So 3% new properties in the Twin Cities went on the market. Pending sales down 26%. So 26% less accepted purchase agreements this past week. And then the overall inventory is continuing to grow. It's now up 10% year over year. 8,209 is the active inventory. A balanced market in the Twin Cities is about 18,000, maybe 19,000 homes on the market. So we're still in a seller's market. It is still a time, very good time for sellers to sell. But Sue, 26% down.
Yeah.
We as agents, we're feeling it.
Yeah.
All the companies and brands.
Yes, we really are. I'm hearing it on the listing side as well as on the buying side. Listers are like, oh, I'm not sure I better get in the market now before it goes down anymore. Some are saying that, but then others are saying it's still a really good market, and it is. For buyers, from the offers that I've been putting in, we're seeing, instead of 25 offers on a property, we're seeing 6,
Sure.
5, 4, a lot less, which is great to keep the houses, priced better, because they aren't going up as high because there's not as much competition. So as a buyer, it's actually a really good time to try to get your offer accepted.
We'll keep the discussion going. We're already at our first break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. A lot to talk about with those numbers. Appreciate so many folks joining us on social media as well, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Appreciate it. Oregon Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. We'll be back after the first break. Thanks for joining us here today. A lot going on, a lot to talk about. And again, interesting when we look at 25%, again, less accepted purchase agreements in the market. A lot of these 2-1 buy downs happening from a mortgage standpoint to help buyers get into the market more so. And again, if we look at some of those numbers, remember historically back in, again, mid 2006, we had 35,000 homes for sale in the Twin Cities.
Crazy.
Mid 2007, almost 40,000 homes.
Unbelievable.
So we have 8 or a little over 8. So it's like a fifth. So it's changed. And I know it's hard for a lot of the sellers out there where we're seeing some price reductions, but it's still a good time. We have to remember that.
Yes, absolutely. And to sit at 8,000, and we've been sitting in the seller's market for just an incredibly long period of time. It's bound to change, but I'll tell you what, I was showing houses on Friday, and first time in a long time that we actually had 8 houses to see, for this one client versus 1 or 2 or 3. So that increase in inventory is definitely there. And that's been actually quite nice for the buyer.
Right.
To have more to look at.
Right. From a buyer's perspective as well, I know a lot of people who have lost in offers over, maybe last year you couldn't get a home. Maybe you had to re-sign a lease. We're seeing a lot of buyers kind of re-emerge into the market. Even with the uptick in interest rates, looking at, again, the cost of how much is it to rent, how much is it to own, rental amounts. I mean, when they've talked about these inflation numbers that came out rents are up a staggering amount. And that's obviously affecting people all across the board, the rise in food costs, gasoline. Steve, are you seeing big impacts with your business in those costs, in the day-to-day costs?
Absolutely. Of course, I have 15 monstrous diesel trucks that use a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is from that aspect. Some of the radon parts, like the plastic housing cover, costs have doubled, and then it's taken me months to get product in. I mean, I've got a big warehouse; it's chock full of stuff. And then the drain tile itself that we bought, I was buying it for say 70 cents a foot a year and a half ago. About $2 a foot now.
Wow. So it's 15 big trucks. Like how big are we
Well,
talking?
I should say probably 11 diesel trucks and then 4 or 5 service vehicles. But yeah, they carry, 10 tons, 6 tons. 8
Oh my
tons.
gosh.
They're huge.
So how much is that to
Here
fill
we
a
go,
tank
guys.
on that?
We're going back live on air.
They don't get miles per gallon; they get gallons per mile.
Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back. Hey, Mike Dubs. How are you there, friend? You ever seen Journey, Mike? Yes, your mother was. Journey. I did. I like Journey. Actually, they got that new singer, the young guy, who they found like on YouTube or something. They originally they found him. He was overseas, and he becomes the lead singer of Journey. And I did see them actually with the new artist. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. The Minnesota Real Estate Show every Saturday, 10 to 11. A lot going on in the real estate market. Interesting numbers to share. Cancellations of purchase agreements. They're saying there was a report that came out that said 15% of all homes that went under contract in June, so in the month of June, canceled. And they said that is the highest rate since early 2020, when obviously COVID began. 15% cancellations. Sue, I am seeing more cancellations, and I think a hard thing for maybe buyers or sellers or listeners to understand is you think, hey, you know what, I'm going to sell my home. We get a purchase agreement on it, and everything just then moves forward. It's like going to Best Buy. I'm going to buy a TV. Great. I pay $800 or $500 or whatever it is. I pay my money and done, closed, move on. The real estate world, again, if you haven't bought or sold in a while, is unfortunately not that way. There are many reasons transactions can cancel. And sometimes transactions cancel because one party or the other simply doesn't want to move forward. And I always say, Sue, when one party or the other loses goodwill in a transaction, all bets are off. In other words, hey, they may have agreed to buy it and close on this date and this and this and this. And unfortunately, people don't always play nicely in the sandbox.
Yeah, that's very true. Overall, though, I have to say that it's 90% of the time it's pretty darn good, right? It is kind of, it's cautionary when you hear cancellation rates that high because we haven't been there for a long time. But I think inspections may be coming back again, which I think we needed to get back. A lot of people, because of the competition, were not doing inspections on their homes. You're buying it as is then, and you're taking your chances. It's always better to do an inspection. I always try to recommend that for people. So I'm starting to see people not willing to put offers in without doing an inspection. And I always recommend that.
Yep.
Whereas last year and the year before, they were like deferring everything just to get the house. And that's not always a smart way to go.
Well, not only home inspections, but we saw a lot of buyers too that were deferring well and septic inspections as well, where again, ensuring with the county, usually that is county regulated, where you have to determine what does the county require, and making sure that everything is on par there. But the buyer normally does a separate inspection themselves, and they make it contingent on that. Well, last year, I remember seeing a lot of different transactions where, again, we informed the buyer, hey, this is the way it normally is.
Mhm.
But because of losing so many times, they said, we're not going to make it contingent on that. That can be problematic on that level, as well as the home inspection level. And then I'm seeing some buyer remorse where they bought and maybe they feel, yeah. What are you laughing at?
We all have buyer remorse.
Buyer
You bring
remorse.
that TV back, it's like, what the hell is that thing? It's like,
You're right. Well, and that's the hard thing as a seller, because we've seen it in some cases where the buyer, they've lost out on 8 offers. They finally get one accepted, but it's 10 grand more or 15 grand more. They sleep on it a night or two. They talk to their friends. They talk to the mom and dad say, what? You
Yeah.
paid $420 for that home? And then you
It's
drive
true.
back home, you're in the car and you're like, oh my gosh, should we do this?
Mhm.
And so that's the reality of it. And a huge plug again for friends. There's so many wonderful agents in the Twin Cities with all the companies. A huge plug, work with a professional
Mhm.
that knows the business and the transaction, most importantly, because that stuff happens.
It
And
does.
you need to be able to navigate it. It's part of the reason you do so well in the business, Sue. It's not, Steve, it's not like buying that TV. And when you get that cancellation call,
Yeah.
like, hey, we're supposed to close on Friday, my buyer doesn't want to close, you got to know what to do.
Yep. And it is a different scenario now because people are getting fatigued, with the market where it's been. And so they might not like me sometimes when I tell them, you know what, we should really do an inspection. It's your decision, but I'm going to recommend XYZ. Do they always listen? Not always, but I try my best to just give them what's there, give them the facts, tell them what the deal is, and give them good advice so that they can make a good decision. That's our job.
Right.
Do they always listen? No. Some people do, though. They really appreciate that frankness. It's not, I want to get the sale, so I'll do whatever it takes. That's not the way we work
Yeah.
at the real estate team. We are always high energy, but ethical, completely ethical. So we want to give them the facts and let them make the decision for themselves.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And it's hard because, again, as agents, you have to remember that, again, real estate agents are fully commissioned. So you have to remember, as a consumer, again, they get paid essentially when you buy or sell a home. But part of the art form with the job is you have to get enough things going so that you don't put pressure onto your buyer or seller like, hey, Sue, you're my one customer.
Right.
I got to pay my T-Mobile bill. And it's hard because, again, and that's part of what, as an agent, you're trying to do is to build relationships with people. So you have 10 different people you're working with.
Mhm.
And then if, hey, you know what, we're going to hold off, no problem.
Right.
And again, that is something that, again, you would think is just normal, but again, it's part of the job.
Yeah, definitely.
Steve, thoughts on that?
well, I think related to this is the fear of loss concept. If you're buying a home and there's some fear in terms of closing, you don't get the right interest rate, you buy a home, there's an issue with it, you didn't know about it, ties into inspections. A realtor is fearing someone not buying the home or not selling the home. And I think we always think as humans we're motivated to do things or to carry it, but the reality is we're motivated many times by fear of loss. That's why they have buy this, sale ends on this date. Well,
Mhm.
why buy now? You think you're buying to get a discount, but there's also or get by this date or the fear of loss. I think there's some of that that's going on, and you alluded to that too. If you make an offer on a home, oh my God, you paid what? Right? I can't believe that. You see, they sold that home 3 years ago for $200,000 less,
Right.
and then you feel like, okay, did I make the right decision?
Yeah. And again, you have to remember that the appraisal process is different. So homes do have to appraise,
Mhm.
and the appraiser and the mortgage person don't have direct contact. So to
Right.
protect you as the buyer, again, you need to get a home appraisal, but what a lot of people in our market have been doing is guaranteeing the appraisal. If it doesn't appraise for 350, I will pay the difference between what it appraised for and what it sold for. That also is starting to go away a little bit too, because again, people don't want to overpay for a home, Steve.
Question for you
Yeah.
on appraisals. Do appraisers take into effect interest rates? Like when the interest rates goes from 3 to 6%, obviously the home values are going to change. Or did they just look at, okay, this is what homes sold in the last year on this block, 4 bedrooms, here it is. How's that work?
Yeah, it is not related to interest rates at all. So it's all related to the data, essentially, of looking at past sales, comparable sales. John Love on our team, again, I've mentioned a couple times, is a wonderful agent, but also a great appraiser. So he's helped us learn more about the appraisal process, above ground square feet. How many above ground square feet are on the property? Though that square footage is more valuable than below ground square footage. And so appraisers, again, are going out there on behalf of the lender to protect the lender, essentially. And so you have to remember that, because people say, hey, is the housing market going to bubble or, pop? And I see still a strong demand with such limited supply, Sue, that, prices are not going to go up at 15%.
No.
But I don't think prices are going to go down. A lot of markets, they're talking about, when you see the news, that prices are decreasing in California, different areas where they've gone up like 40%.
Right.
Well, yeah, people can't afford that, but I don't think we're going to see a decrease in values here.
No, and lately we've been seeing in Minneapolis, it's probably in the last couple of years between 8 and 20%, depending on, the city, right? But if you look at the number of months on the market in 2020, it was 2.4. Last year it was 1.4. Now we're at 1.7. So we're coming back around a little bit. We're still terribly low, but there is a little bit more inventory on the market. The values are there right now, right? And they're not going to crash like Ryan just said. There's not a bubble that's going to pop like it did in 2006, because then it was a buyer's market. We had 7 homes to every 1 buyer. Now we have the opposite. We have 5 or 6 buyers for every 1 house. So we still have that demand, and that's not going away. The values might drop a tiny bit, but they're still going to be high.
We're at Oh, sorry, Steve.
I was going to say this, back in Detroit 20, 30 years ago, there was an exodus of people. Now they had too many homes, no buyers, and the prices just went through the floor.
Right.
That's not Minnesota.
No.
We don't have enough.
You're
And
right.
there's no magic button to push, and all of a sudden you have more houses.
You're right. We're at the halfway point here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us really at any point by phone or text. I am going to be featuring some listings here in the second half of the show too. The first one, Doreen Yagi, has got a great one that's got a new price, $457,000, and it's 9639 105th Avenue North in Maple Grove. Doreen says it's a fantastic 2-story. It's in the Elm Creek neighborhood. Again, newly priced at that $457,000. It's got 4 generous-sized bedrooms plus a 5th in the lower level, stunning chef's kitchen, stainless steel appliances, cherry cabinetry, Brazilian granite, private backyard, includes a gazebo, and she's doing an open house. She'll be there tomorrow, Sunday, from 12 to 2. Check that one out. 9639 105th Avenue. And before the break, one other one. Megan Rudnitsky has got a great one in Coon Rapids. 13151 Meadowwood Way, Unit 134, listed for 208. You don't see much in the 2s that low as well. 208,000. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath, well-maintained townhome, open floor plan, gas fireplace and patio, and it's conveniently located near the Riverdale Shopping Center, close to parks for walking or biking. 13151 Meadowwood Way, Unit 134, Coon Rapids for 208,000. Some nice listings, 2 great ones to check out. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us on social media. A lot going on. Steve, you've been patiently waiting as we kind of jib jab about all things real estate related.
This is what we're here for.
Hey, how is your business? Are you guys seeing with the inflation? Have you seen a downtick in requests, in people reaching out? What are you experiencing with Standard Water?
So to oversimplify this, our business is dependent on two factors. One is rain, because when rain comes in, we have problems with basements. So we had ridiculous sales and all piles of work here this spring compared to last year.
Yeah.
And then the second piece would be like remodeling or real estate transactions. So between egress windows, radon, and waterproofing, all that ties into both pieces, whether there's real estate that's moving or remodeling. And right now, I am talking to realtors literally every day on these topics. So
Thought it was really nice this week. We had a question come into our team about with our team, we occasionally will send stuff out. Hey, who do you have for this? Who can help? Hey, who can do that? And this was a question specific about waterproofing. Steve McDonald, who's a fellow agent on our team, a longtime general contractor, gave you a really nice review, said he's worked with Steve Grown and Standard Water, loves the work you do, and thought that was good to hear, Steve.
You know, he is really a good guy. Great wife, too. She's a chiropractor. And
Yeah.
he is A+ team, and he's just outstanding. We've done a bunch of work for him, egress windows, drain tiles, and then he's referred us out. So I probably owe him lunch, a couple lunches, maybe 3 lunches. I don't know.
Lunches, Steve. Come on, do some lunches. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. So, do you the last 2 months have you with your clients? Have you had anybody who's left the market, who said, "Yeah, we were gonna buy, Sue, but we don't feel comfortable"?
I have a couple listings that
Okay.
have done that. Buyers, actually, I've had a few more coming back in because they had already taken a break. But a couple of my people that were listing have gone, not so sure I want to go now. So I've had it on both sides.
Yeah,
But why is that?
yeah. Why is that?
Well,
What's the thought from the sellers? Or
I
what
think
are the?
from the sellers, they're afraid they're not going to get something that they can to replace what they currently have.
Fear of loss.
So fear of loss. That's exactly what it is. It's like, okay,
Fear
I
of
can
loss.
sell, but where am I going to go? But like my nephew went through this, right?
Fear of
And
moving in.
so fear of moving in, yeah. But it ended up being okay because we just put a contingency in there and said contingent upon the seller finding a place to live.
Which
It
again is
buys
common.
them a little time,
Okay,
and that's worked really well. And
So-
that's taken some of that fear away.
so a lot of fear of loss.
Yeah, fear of loss.
Steve, do you have any fear of loss?
I'm flashing back. I used to sell computers for Gateway Computers, and the prices always went down, and speed of computers always went up. And I'd talk to some of these people every month. They'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know, the prices are going to go down." I'm like, "Yeah, they're always going to go down." So, like, do you want to have the improved quality of life? I mean, at what point? And so it's the same thing with real
Yeah.
estate, right? When do you want that?
Mhm.
And obviously, there's a money factor, but
Yeah,
still.
and a lot of people aren't motivated by money. Some are afraid to lose, but there are others that are motivated by value. And so right now there's a little bit of communication issues with that.
We did mention again in the first segment, if you did not catch it, just from a housing market update. If we compare again, this is June of 2022 compared to the prior June. Inventory went up about 8%. Closed sales down about 14%. The median sales price still went up 6%, 6.2%, 345,000. And days on market actually went down, interestingly. Here we go. We're going back live on air. This is Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Don't hesitate to comment with any questions or thoughts. Hey, welcome back. Sue Marty with the Minnesota Real Estate Team. Steve Grown, Standard Water. Steve, we were just talking to you about your business, and we were talking about fear of loss.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Steve's, yeah, it's the question was, and I had asked Steve during the break, I'd asked him specifically about inflation and everything, what you're experiencing. Have you seen a downtick in jobs? Are you seeing less people? We were going to drain tile. We were looking at waterproofing. We were looking at doing some radon stuff. No thanks. Prices have gone up too much, Steve. We just can't afford it right now.
I haven't dealt with any of those. If you have water in your basement, we have a solution. They're pretty much going to pay. We're going to get it done. We have, maybe there's people holding off to do things because sometimes it's not urgent or they can wait a year to do the remodeling. I just sent out, we're always trying to close business too, right? You got to make a sale to keep the business running. I sent out an email blast to my customers who had asked for quotes for the last few years. And I said, well, we still have openings in October. That's one reason to book now. And the other is avoid the price increases. Because it's a fact. Prices are going to, I can't hold these prices. Everything's going up.
Mhm.
So people are concerned, just buy it now. Why wouldn't you buy it now? But yeah, everyone's concerned about the future and money and yeah.
Yeah, it is a interesting time. First segment, again, we talked about current market, where things are at right now, from an inventory standpoint, from an interest rate standpoint. Mike Overson, again, Luminate Home Loans, mentioned that the end of July, the Federal Reserve is looking at bumping up short-term interest rates again, 3/4 of a point or more. Mike was commenting. And so that affects interest rates, long-term rates, causing them to go down. And so, Sue, what do you think? Again, you've had a very busy year with your business, helping a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers every year. What are you kind of seeing, Sue, with some of that, as well as just kind of overall feelings about the market?
It is a mixed bag. It depends on who you talk to. I think a lot of people are really concerned about inflation right now. That's kind of like what everybody's talking about right now. And even in your business, you've noticed it. I mean, diesel prices are skyrocketing. It's costing more to buy groceries. So people are looking at that, and they're looking at their mortgage rate, and then they're looking at their payment, and they're saying, can I still make it work? Some people are deciding to wait until it drops again. But, there's no guarantee of anything, right? So if you really, it depends on what your motivation is. If you just want to get a really nice place, give your family a great place to live, it's not going to stop you at this point. Now, if we see inflation at 12%, we might have more issues, but it's not that high. It is high, but we've been here before. People still need a nice place to live. They still want to buy a home. Their families are still growing and their needs are changing. So some are upsizing and some are downsizing. So that's never going to change.
Yeah.
The market's still going to be there.
I think everyone has their comparison. So are you going to compare it to 2 years ago when it was 3%? You're going to compare to a year from now as it goes up, lower? You have conflicting information. I bought my first house in 1994. I bought the interest rate down to 9%.
I know. I was
So-
at a construction loan of 18%,
Wow.
and we locked in at 16%. This was in the 80s.
And you were happy.
And
'Cause
that
you
was
locked it
like,
down.
that was high, we knew, but then it went down to 9%. Boy, were we excited.
It's funny.
You
A lot of
know?
things in life, it's a good point. It is just where you start from, Steve.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard. It's kind of there's a lot of funny jokes going on online that talked about agents, real estate agents, who started in the business from 2020 to now.
Yeah.
Okay. A kind of a pandemic realtor that one I saw on Facebook that says, hello, pandemic realtors. A price reduction. A price reduction is when the home doesn't sell and the seller needs to lower the price. In other words, they're just in the past few years, nobody, of course, a seller's never going to reduce the price. Why would you do that?
Right.
And again, some of the things that you would think are normal. And that's why, again, for me, looking at market time a little bit longer with agents and clients doing open houses, broker opens. It's coming back more to a little bit more of a normalized type of market. That's not so crazy.
Mhm.
Like, oh my gosh, a new home came on in Hopkins. We got to leave church and go write an offer on it,
Right.
type of thing.
Right.
It's just the world is taking a little bit of a deep breath.
Mhm.
I would think it'd be pretty important to set that price right if you're selling as well. We
Yeah.
talked about this before, Ryan. If you set it too high, you have to reduce it, and people are walking around thinking, "What's wrong with that house?"
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. Pricing is super important. Again, it's easy to just push too hard, push too high. You have to look at the most current data, the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and say, what's happening? What's the market velocity for this type of home, this price range area? How are things moving?
Mhm.
It's super important, Sue, to
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that information.
Yeah, in fact, like I said, I was out the other day with a client, and most of the houses that we saw frankly, we saw 8 houses. 4 of them have had price reductions. And the other problem with that is if you don't price it right away, that's when you're getting the most activity on your home if you're a
Mm.
seller. So why would you price it too high and then in 2 weeks have to lower your price? And now that activity's gone.
Right.
Get them when the activity is at its highest point within the first 2 weeks. So price it right away, at the market or slightly below. Don't go crazy high because your market's going to walk away.
So, how do you deal with that when a homeowner wants their price listed higher? They think they're going to get more money for it. You're coming in knowing it should be there, and maybe they're thinking, you're not in my best interest because you're not going to get the price I want.
That's a great point. And what I try to tell them is like, you price it too high, no one's going to come and see it. But if you price it at the market, they're going to go, wow, this is a really nice house, and I think we can afford this. So then they go see it, and then all of a sudden there's 2 and 3 offers on that house, and there still are multiple offers going on out there. That raises the price, and they end up getting the price they want anyway. But if you start there, you don't get it. But if you do it at where it's supposed to be, you're going to add that extra activity competition that's going to raise the price.
Yeah, before the break here, again, 2 other listings to touch on. Kieran Houlihan, awesome agent with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. He's got one. This one is at 10170 Nightingale Street Northwest. And it is, Kieran says, opportunity to wait awaits in this highly sought after Coon Rapids River neighborhood. And it is a large corner lot. And he says this is not your traditional split level home. It's got new AC, furnace, and kitchen, 3 additional appliances, 3 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage, plus additional parking for an RV or a boat, Steve, or a boat, $299,900. Kieran is having open houses Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on 10170 Nightingale Street Northwest. And the other one is 1388 Highway 23. This is kind of cool. It is in Ogilvie. It's on a beautiful pond in the city of Ogilvie. It's a 2-bedroom, single-level home that's been loved, and it shows throughout. So many updates, including 19 by 9 porch addition, new siding, fresh paint, new flooring, all new electrical and an electrical panel, a bathroom refresh, and plumbing updates. This is $115,000.
Wow.
2 bed, 1 bath. It's 4 acres on a pond. $115,000. It's pre-inspected as well. 1388 Highway 23. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. $115,000.
I was going to show one today for $117,000.
117.
That's only 117 from zero.
Let's see those prices.
Steve, with Standard Water, again, you go to mnrealestateshow.com. Steve is one of our fantastic partners, just as he and his team do an awesome job. Your core services, Steve, again, for everybody are
Egress windows,
yep,
waterproofing, radon mitigation.
egress windows, waterproofing, radon mitigation. Thoughts for people in that space here, whether people are looking specifically for that or they run into a situation and they need waterproofing.
Well, call us. We'll run out and give an estimate. What's interesting is probably if we get 10 phone calls for waterproofing, we probably only quote 8 of them. Because 2 out of 10, it's something that we don't feel we can address, or it should be addressed differently. If we go out, homes never had water in the home, and all of a sudden it's coming in one corner and their gutter is disconnected in that corner.
Sure.
Right.
We typically don't recommend putting drain tile in the house, because that's not really gonna, I mean, the customers, it'll solve it, but it's not doing the right thing. Or sometimes we come out, it's, the water softener is kicking out water on the floor. There's a variety of situations where it's not, the end of the world.
Right. Yeah. And from a radon perspective, are you guys busy, very busy as well in that area?
Absolutely. Yep. I talked to, so if someone calls in, they want their express interest in radon, I typically talk to them myself. A lot of people don't know what it costs, what it entails, so I'll kind of walk them through it. If they're interested in moving forward with more specifics, I'll send out, actually it's an installer, not a salesman. He'll go out, assess it, engineer it, write it up. If they say, yeah, go ahead and do it, we'll knock it out same day. Typically it's a 6-7 hour install. It's not a big deal. And that's how we operate it. But right now it is a busier time with homes that are being sold. We used to see more of, give us pricing and they'd use it to negotiate. Now we're seeing installs required to get the deal done, contingent. So we'll have to move our schedule around and get the work done so they can sell the home.
How many employees at Standard Water?
23.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you buy the company?
A year and a half ago.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So
things are
many,
going well.
so many great reviews. If you're looking online, again, just a number of great reviews. That's probably where you get a lot of business too, is directly from people Googling you.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I bought the company, I think we had 70 Google reviews, and now it's up considerably. So
That's very cool.
400.
Yeah, again, mnrealestateshow.com is where you can see all of your partners. These are people that help us in the buying and selling of homes and the different issues that come up. Now we're going back live on air. Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a fun show. It goes by quickly. We're already in the last segment here, July 16th. I hope your weekend is going well so far. mnrealestateshow.com is how you can reach us throughout the week, too. If you have questions, 612-294-6949. You can call us or text us on that number. Again, whether you're looking to buy a home, to sell a home, to invest in real estate, to really any real estate questions at all with the Minnesota Real Estate team, we've got an awesome agent wherever you might be listening to the show. We'd be honored to help you. And again, most importantly, at your pace and your timeline. Sue, before we dive back in here, I did have one other listing I wanted to talk about. This one is Crystal Vetter. Has a beautiful home. This just went on the market in Lakeville, 18028 J Court in Lakeville. And this is priced at $799,900, so $799,900. And it is a 1-story home. It's 4 beds, 3 bath, 3-car garage. And from a description, Crystal says that it's a custom Allen Lee walkout Rambler. It's on a half-acre wooded lot, and it's on a quiet cul-de-sac in one of Lakeville's finest neighborhoods. It's got over 200 feet of private lakeshore. It lets you step into your backyard lake to kayak, canoe, paddleboard, and enjoy your own ice rink in the winter. That'd be fun. Crystal says delight in the sun-filled rooms with picturesque views of towering trees, wildlife, sunsets from the walls of Marvin windows in this well-designed home, eat-in kitchen with newer Jenn-Air appliances, center island, breakfast nook, separate hearth area, main level master en suite, separate dining. The lower level opens to an oversized family room, a full wet bar, entertainment space, workout area with 2 additional bedrooms and a full second bath as well. Maple flooring recently redone, newer carpet throughout, freshly painted exterior, interior, updated landscape, new concrete driveway, 3-stall garage with epoxy flooring, and additional 150 square feet of work storage space. wow is right. And looking
Sign
at the
me up.
photos, yeah, super attractive home. Looking at the pictures as well. 4-bed, 3-bath, 3-car garage. That is 18028 J Court in Lakeville. Listed with Crystal Vetter and the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus. Nice property. Wow.
Yeah, that is a nice property.
Steve, you're looking for a home.
I might be next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I rent an apartment at the Vikings Parkway, right across from where the Vikings are going to start practicing here. You can go watch them, I think, starting August 1st.
Fun.
The amenities are nice, but I do miss home, living in a home too.
Yeah, there is. It's surprising. The number, again, we've talked about this, but the number of rental property buildings going up, condos and apartments. A lot of people renting for a variety of good reasons. And for those that have listened to the show over the show know that I'm a proponent of doing what works for you and your family. We are not, hey, everyone needs to buy real estate and buy homes, and that's the only way to go. There's a lot of valid reasons for people to rent. So, Steve, thoughts on that? Comments?
Yeah, well, one thing is if you're going to sell a home, people don't know where they're going to go. Go rent. You might find that sort of life very enjoyable. You're probably going to find a place to store stuff, but it's kind of like being on vacation.
Yeah.
So, and while you look for that next place, if you can't figure it out, we have some friends, they're selling their home and that's what they're going to do.
Sure.
Figure out the next steps, take a year off.
And I actually did that myself.
Yeah.
I had a house for 25 years, loved it. I was out in Minnetonka. I sold it in 2017.
Yeah.
And I'm actually moving again next month to a duplex, an upper duplex. It's got the Craftsman style that I love. It's a 1915 duplex in
Nice.
South Minneapolis. It's just gorgeous. It's cute. I am in a different stage of my life where I'm wanting to travel more. And I
Sure.
want to go and do things. I don't want to do yard work. My last house had 70 bags of leaves every fall. So it was 5 weekends in a row with my baking, riding lawnmower, or picking up leaves. And I just decided I was done.
Yeah.
That. So for some people, you never want to sell your house. Other people are, similar age to me. They owe nothing on their house, and it's way too big for them. But they love where they are. They've got a lot of sentimental value in them. And stay.
Right.
No problem. But if you want to get rid of the work like I did, I just said I'm done, and now I'm in a different stage of my life, and I'm traveling more, and I'm having more fun, not doing those things. So it's still I'm enjoying that.
So you got to give a nice plug for you and your friend Tracy. You guys do a wonderful job with that. Talk about that.
So I'm a partner with a business called Two Dames and Friends. You can look us up online, twodamesandfriends.com. And what we specialize in is home prep for moving and improving. So that could mean someone that's downsizing. It's an estate clean out where they don't know where to start. In fact, we've done quite a few of these this year. We come in and help. We get hired by a ton of different realtors that we work with. We come in and we give them advice. We write up a report. We project manage the whole thing. We can do moving, packing, estate clean out, donations, repairs, painting, anything and everything to get the house ready for the market, including staging. And then once they sell and get out, we can get some of our funds paid at closing. But I think the biggest thing for people is it's one invoice. They don't have to pay out 5 different people. We can hire Steve, for example, to come and take care of a problem in a house like that. Waterproofing or radon or whatever it is, and then put that on one invoice along with the painter and along with whatever. And then that client only sees one invoice.
Cool.
And we project manage it for them and for the realtor, so they can just hand the project off. It works out really well.
That's Two Dames
And friends.com.
You're a friend, Steve.
I feel like I have a
Like, how do I respond? No, but I know you guys do awesome work. Games and friends. Again, we've been talking to Steve, growing Standard Water. You got, again, and I mentioned earlier, but a really nice compliment from Steve McDonald on our team about all the work you've done on egress windows, waterproofing, radon. You've got a ton of Google reviews. I know you're getting a lot of business directly from your Google reviews, Steve.
Yes. I mean, that's where people go to find out about us. We live off social media. And, I was thinking coming in here, can I make a special to the listeners?
Yeah.
Can I offer something?
Absolutely.
Okay. So one of the things people wonder about with Radon is what are their levels? And I was saying, I've got 25 test kits back at our office. If you reach out to me, LinkedIn, Steve Grohn, Grohn, send me your address and I will send you a test kit. So good while supplies last. If your rating comes out a little too high, no problem. We can give you an estimate and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So-
Say that special again.
Well, you could reach out to our company, but if you go to LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Steve Grohn, just connect with me and then send me your address, and I'll go ahead and send you a radon test kit. I'll mail one to you, no charge.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Valid only for the first 25 people, though.
All right. Great job on today's show there, friend.
Fun to be here.
Well done. StandardWater.com. Sue Marty, great job there, friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Any fun plans for the weekend, Sue?
Yes, quite a few actually.
I call her Social Sue because she's fun. She's fun. That's one of the many things people love about you there, Sue.
Thank you. It's
Go
been
fi-
great to be here, Ryan. Thank
Yeah.
Go find a boat.
Go
you.
find
Yeah,
out.
right. I might have to call my friend and see if she wants to go out this afternoon.
There you go.
Hey, big thanks to Steve Grohn, Standard Water, Sue Marty with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus, and Mike Dubs from K102, who comes in every Saturday to produce the show for us. Thank you. mnrealestateshow.com is how you can reach us if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. You got questions about the market, renting, whatever it might be. We're here for you, and we're happy to help you. mnrealestateshow.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching on social media. We will be back next week, next Saturday. Good morning to everybody so many folks who commented. Thank you for joining us and commenting as well. We appreciate you watching the show. Steve and Sue, great job.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.